What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about something that I get DMs and private messages, especially on Instagram, quite a bit about people buying used bikes, and they'll ask me like, hey, is this a good deal, blah blah blah, it's got so many miles, is this considered high mileage, yada yada. So 9 times out of 10 it's with a bike that's like, say, like, you know, 5 to 10 years old, and it's only got like 20,000, maybe 30,000 miles on it. Now, a lot of people seem to feel like that's like a lot of miles, and it's really not. Is that what I think it is? Oh, I think it's a four-wheeler. I legit thought it was a I legit thought it was one of those Yamaha Nikons or whatever they're called, with the 3 wheels, the 2 in the front. So anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, bike mileage. So I want to say that it's really hard to say like a bike with 30,000 miles might be in worse shape than a bike with 50,000 miles because of who owned it, who rode it, who maintained it and took care of it. Because a lot of people will buy a bike and like they don't really know anything about bikes, and they'll just ride them. Like, they'll buy them, keep them for like 5 years, and put like 3,000 miles on them. It happens all the time, trust me. And they'll never change the oil, they'll never do anything to it. It's still got the stock tires. The bike's 6 years old, the tires are all dry rotted. And then you'll have people who buy bikes like my friend Craig that rides with us. He has, I believe, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say it's a 2002 Suzuki TL1000R, which is essentially a V-twin 1000cc. It's almost like a sport touring bike, but it's a sport bike. I don't want to say it's a sport touring bike because it's really not. It's just a sport bike, but it's a V-twin. And he bought this bike brand new, and it has over 150,000 miles. I'm gonna put a screenshot on the screen of me taking a picture of his dash. I want to say he had like 154,000 in the picture, but this was about 6 months ago I took this picture of his speedometer. He bought this bike brand new, so he's put all these miles on his bike himself, and he's never had any major issues with this bike. Shout out Suzuki. But I'm not saying like specifically a Suzuki is the only one that can do that. Obviously there's a guy on YouTube who has a, I want to say it's an F4i. It might be like the it's basically, it's a CBR 600, but it's an older bike. And he bought this bike and did like sport touring with it, and he has a video on here of him hitting 100,000 miles, and then he has another video on YouTube of him hitting 200,000 miles. And I think he said he crashed around 140,000 in one of the videos. He crashed doing a track day with it, and had to rebuild the engine at like 140,000. But I mean, come on, dude. Even 100,000 miles on a sport bike, the way most people ride them, is very impressive. Most of these bikes unfortunately get wrecked, totaled, they're just neglected or beat on before they ever hit like 25-30,000 miles. But you will see bikes from time to time that have a substantial amount of miles. So if they're taken care of, if they're maintained and they're not beat on, and I mean, when I say beat on, I don't mean like doing wheelies and you know, taking it to a track, doing quarter miles, doing like, you know, hitting red line every 5 seconds. But I mean like the people that you see that like are sitting in a parking lot and they're like just revving their engine or like holding it at red line and stuff like that, you're probably gonna blow an engine. I've seen a video of a famous stunner. I want to say it was Sit Down Steve, I'm not sure exactly, but he had a, I want to say it was like a 2014 or 2015 ZX6R, the 636, and he has a video of him and he's just doing a rolling burnout, and the bike's got like less than 2,000 miles on it. It's practically brand new, and he blows the engine on it because he's doing a rolling burnout. And he's basically, if you know what a rolling burnout is, basically where you're like slowly moving, the bike is slowly moving forward, you're like creeping on the front brake, but you're basically holding it at red line and just giving the bike all it's got in whatever gear. So he's just like holding it at redline, and he blew the engine on that bike. So that goes to show right there that it just depends on how well the bike is maintained and taken care of. So I figured I'd just do a little video on that, cover that, and let you guys know that, you know, it really depends on the bike. You want to go and look over a bike if you're going to buy a bike that's got, you know, if it's 5 to 10 years old and it's got a substantial amount of miles on it. You want to go look over, has it been taken care of? Has it been wrecked? Does it have scratches on it? Are the brakes still bad? Are the tires dry rotted out? And usually you can tell just by looking at a bike how well a person like has taken care of it and cares about the bike. If you go look at a bike that's 10 years old and it looks like it just came off the showroom floor, you know that person's probably taking care of it. Hopefully internally as well as externally. But that's just my view on that topic. So I'm gonna head out and enjoy the rest of this ride with my girl. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and ride safe.